What are the 3 things that you've learned, possibly the hard way?
Possibly the hard way. Allow the guests to speak more. I've had that feedback from probably 1 or 2 guests, not a lot. I think they're probably connected to the guest, that they feel passionate, that they want to hear more of their friend speak. But I've never had that feedback from other persons before, but I take it to heart because it was feedback. So that's one. The second one is be patient with myself. Since 2012, when somebody hear that, they might think, oh, Corine is such a multi-million-dollar whatever, a Joe Rogan in Trinidad and Tobago, making so much money with podcasting because she started so long ago. No, it's nothing like that. And it all comes back to why you really got started in podcasting. It's really about your objective. So be patient with yourself. I have been, and not a lot of people survive in podcasting. So the fact that I'm still here doing it and people are still listening to me is a good thing. At least I think it's a good thing. And be open to change. Recently, like I mentioned, I changed my cover art. I've had the previous cover art from 2012, and when I saw the new one, I was a little bit, I don't know if I want to let go of the one I created years ago. So it was a little bit of a grief moment release.
Yeah.
But I accepted it. I actually put it out there on social media, and I said, hey, look at the before and after and tell me, which one you like. I put it out for my peeps, as they say, to give some feedback, because what they say matter. And it's not about me. I keep saying it's not about me. So if they like it, I'm going to go with it,
Yeah.
And
that reminds me of one of your episodes. I think it's the What's in It for Me. And isn't that like, what is the listener going to get out of this? Because they care about themselves more than they care about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned allow the guest to speak more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if I cut you off a million times today. Number 2, be patient with myself. So it doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire overnight because you have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go, let it happen, be part of the journey. Number 3 is be open to change, so you can bend like a tree in the wind and change, pivot, grow, and improve. I've heard what got you here won't necessarily get you to where you want to go. So everything that you did to get here, great. But it doesn't mean that that's the same thing that takes you to the next level. If you are making nothing per month and you want to make 10 grand, you got to do something different that got you to nothing. And if you're making 10 grand a month and you want to make 100,000 a month, you've got to do something different that is able to 10x that, or to get to the million or the 10 million a month or the 100 million a month. You got to change a few things. So 3 things you learned: allow the guests to speak more, be patient about myself, be open to change. You mentioned that you've had a couple of guests, a couple of listeners that mentioned, I want you to let the guest speak more. If our listener today is worried about or thinking about or is already failing at talking too much, is there something you can share that would give them value they could take away, which would allow them to get out of the way?
Get out of your own way. You just said the magic words, get out of your own way. Sometimes we tend to talk a bit too much, and you have to be more aware of yourself. And that happens you could see that happening in a number of other situations. So for example, I have probably in a speaking opportunity, speaking on the stage, you might talk yourself out of an exciting topic, and you notice that there's a lull in the engagement of the audience. Another scenario, maybe you go to an interview for a job and you're doing so well, and all of a sudden, boop, everything just went, the temperature in the room changes because you're talking too much as opposed to being very straight and targeted in your response when the interviewer asks you something. So there are different scenarios that showcases when these things are happening. And what I'm trying to share with your audience is they need to be in touch with themselves. They need to be aware. And they could ask people as well. Am I talking too much? Do I overdoing what I'm saying or over explain myself? So you have to be aware of that. And so sometimes you even like you apologize, interrupting when somebody else is speaking. These are little things that you have to pull back and be aware of yourself and just sit back. And we are always excited because the thoughts are in our head and we want to get that thought out. But you have to be able to have that amount of control and know that it's going to come back. And even if it doesn't, then it wasn't as relevant and let it go, you know? But the guest is really the star of the show. You are facilitating something and you are supposed to allow them to speak. Give them that grace and give them that time. And they also give you that grace and time because there comes a point where they would realize they have made their point and they want to hear what you have to say. So it's a nice, I call it a dance, you know? It's a dance of language, and one person has to lead, one person has to follow. And there comes a point when the music stops, when the music starts back, and you start dancing again. So allow it to be that flowing dance.